Hi, this is Dinesh Tadepalli, co-founder of Incredibleeats, alumni of Shark Tank, and you're watching Sachin Syal's Ochakde show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Ochakde show. I'm your host, Sachin Syal. I'm a 15-year-old award-winning entrepreneur from the Bay Area. If you're new here, this is a talk show or podcast where I interview entrepreneurs and inspiring individuals from all walks of life so we can learn from their stories and level up ourselves. The purpose of the show is to inspire you to go for it, which is what Ochakde means. Today, we have an incredible entrepreneur, Dinesh Tadepalli, the chief spoon seller and co-founder of Incredible Eats. Dinesh was featured on Shark Tank and got a deal with Lori Greiner. Lori's offer was $500,000 for a 15% stake. In my opinion, and millions of others' opinion as well, Incredible Eats is one of the most revolutionary products ever featured on Shark Tank. So, Dinesh, welcome to the Ochakde show, man. Thank you so much for being here. How's it going?
Hey, hi Sachin. Thanks for this opportunity. Glad to be here. I'm good. Hope it's well with you too.
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. Life is good, especially when I get to interview people like you.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's just kick it off with the first question. Can you just explain what Incredible Eats exactly is?
Yeah, so Incredible Eats reinvents the way we eat our food by replacing single-use plastic with edible cutlery. So yes, you can eat your spoon or spork or straw. The concept here originated at an ice cream shop when I observed hundreds of thousands of spoons in the dustbin, and I realized we're just using it for like 10 to 15 minutes for convenience, and then we're trashing the planet for decades or even centuries. So that made me wonder and realize that we need to do something better. And we already eat our ice creams with cones. Why not have the spoons which are edible as well? And so that at least we are given an option not to use the plastic. And that's how the journey started.
Awesome. What inspired you to develop the idea of edible cutlery?
Yeah, as I mentioned, that particular scenario at an ice cream shop, and I realized we need to find a better alternative to single-use plastic. I did some research. I observed that the existing compostable cutlery is 99% of them is not home compostable, so they can only be composted at industrial composting facilities. So not many cities have those facilities available, and even if those exist, not many of them accept cutlery because it's too small for them to sort out. It's hard for them to avoid contamination if the sorting is not done properly at the store. There are three main challenges: proper sorting at the store, and then proper transportation, and then even after sending it to the composting facility, if there exists in the city, it's very hard for them to accept the cutlery because it's too small for them to avoid contamination. And hence I realized that it's kind of a false greenwashing effect, and I realized that we need to do better than this, and we looked for other alternatives across the world, and we thought there was an edible cutlery like a startup that started in India long back, about 4-5 years ago. Sometimes people confuse me with us or us with them, but I approached them. They were actually not able to scale it. They were doing it by hand, very manually, and we offered help to utilize our engineering skills to help them scale, but they have not approved it, or they did not work with us. So we thought, okay, let's start working on a machine that can automate edible cutlery. And we spent about 1 to 2 years of R&D to find the right machines. So I always say our strength is the scalability or manufacturability rather than the product itself. So after spending 1 to 2 years, we finally figured out a small machine that can make 100 spoons a day, and then we realized that we can scale it up. And 3 years forward, we are actually right now at a capacity of making 30,000 spoons a day, and we just started introducing edible sporks and edible straws.
That's amazing. And by the way, I love the stuff behind you. I think that's all Incredible Eats like
Yeah,
frames, right?
yeah, yes.
That's
yes.
amazing. Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah.
that's amazing. So let's talk about like when you're an entrepreneur and you start that idea, there's like a lot of people who like give you their feedback and ideas. So what did your friends and family think about the idea?
Yeah, everyone loved the idea. But then see, as a entrepreneur, you always love your product no matter what. Because it's like your baby, right?
Exactly.
You won't find the defaults of it, unfortunately. I mean, even if you want to, you won't feel like finding it. So I believe Daniel Lubetsky from Kind, he has this very famous saying: every startup or entrepreneurship should go to 3 C's. I'm a huge believer of that, and being an engineer, I have this mindset of test before you release the product. So the three C's are: one is create. Obviously, we already went through the creation part, and then the second major part is critique. You always miss critiquing your own product, or you don't let people criticize it a lot before you actually crusade. That's the third C. So create, critique, and crusade. A lot of people create it and immediately crusade it because they just want to make a lot of money, they want to make a lot of sales and all that stuff. So they don't spend enough time on the second part, which is critique. Give the product enough time for people to accept it and get their honest feedback. So that's something that we did, but it hurt us actually. Like I can tell you later regarding the investment scenario, why we didn't really raise much investments, because we intentionally sold less product in the first 2 years to get feedback. And the biggest challenge we had was with respect to the product. By the way, just to switching to the topic, our products are vegan. They're made with non-GM grains, and they stay firm for up to like 30 minutes in a hot soup and 60 minutes in an ice cream. And they come in both sweet and savory flavors. Once we made the product, it's a brand new concept. Not many people would be like, oh, I hadn't eaten a spoon before. It's completely new to them. The emotions are new, but the taste profile or what to expect out of it is also brand new. Like for example, if I invented or if I created a new potato chip or a new cake or a cupcake or something like that, like some other bakery item, people know what to compare it against. They either like the flavor, they either like the raw materials we use, they either like the goodness of the product and all that stuff. But when I introduce something to the market which is completely new, people have no expectations of what to expect out of it. That's when I realized that I need to spend enough time to get feedback. So we got some feedback. We revised the product almost 5 different times, made it thin, thicker, more flavor, added more sugar, reduced the sugar. So like we went through a lot of churn of changing the product to make it very good, so that at least 70 to 80% of the people will accept it. Again, we are not even there at 90%. We're only still, like, we used to be at like 40 to 50%, especially with the reviews and all that stuff. And then we pushed it to like 70 to 80% of the people liking the product now.
This is just all incredible stuff. I mean, it is Incredible Eats. It's just like, I mean, your episode on Shark Tank got like I think it's at 4.1 million views, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's incredible, and you are a legend. So thank you for being here today. I'm still like, I can't believe I'm talking to the Dinesh. I'm still so excited.
I don't feel myself as a legend or a celebrity. I'm just doing my part to make this planet a better place for you and the future generations. And my only happiness so far is not about how many views I got or how much I made or how much I sold. It's basically how much plastic I'm reducing. US alone disposes of 100 million plastic cutlery per day. I'm not even talking about per month or per year. So there's and people are still not worried about it. See, in the end, right, what I felt personally and what I see among my friends or everyone around me, all of us feel bad about something like climate change or plastic pollution, but when it comes to acting on it, we somehow don't do that, right?
Yeah.
We don't take it seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah, we say when we are in a group and we're talking about plastic pollution, everyone, almost 9 out of 10 people will say, "Oh yes, plastic is just too much in the oceans." We're like, there's so many things that you discuss about. And it just dies away after few hours or few days, and then the next week we go do take a takeout or go eat an ice cream. We just happily just takes the plastic spoon without thinking twice. So my goal is to convert our feelings into actions and change the consumer behavior, rather than making a big company or making a big deal about all the views and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, and that's the hardest part, by the way. Selling the product is hard, but not as hard as changing the behavior of a consumer.
Wow, I love it. Let's talk about what a typical day like is for you.
Yeah, so one thing we pledged, I have Jack with me in the US and my co-founder Kruvil Patel in India. He takes care of the manufacturing completely in India. So in the US with just 2 of us, and both of us we kind of pledged not to take any money from the business till we replace 100 million plastic cutlery. That's actually 1 day of consumption, as I mentioned before. So we don't take any salaries, we don't take any money, and that's the reason why we have our own jobs. We have our own full-time jobs, because I have 2 young kids, I have to take care of my family, my rent and everything. So my typical day would be like I recently moved to East Coast from California, and from morning 8 to 12 I spent for my Incredible Eats. then 12 to 8 is my job, and again after in the night 9 to 12 is for my Incredible Eats again. So I split my day almost equally for both my business and my personal job.
Got it. Yeah, that's very. I think that's very cool. So do you plan to like if Incredible Eats has already done really well, but if you just keep growing and growing and growing, do you plan to still have your 9 to 5, or do you plan to
And
maybe quit?
no, I mean my job again. If I can, once I reach my first goal and once I can start taking salaries, obviously I'll convert full time to Incredible Eats. That's my
Okay.
passion. The only reason I'm doing job is for my immigration purposes as well as my
Oh, okay.
like my monthly needs for my family. So that's the only reason. If those got taken care of, then I don't see why I shouldn't go switch to full time. I'm actually in fact contemplating it for a long time, but it's just that yeah, I need to put whatever I make through my startup back into the startup to make it grow, to make it reach the goals that we set.
Okay. Well, when you make a decision, you're gonna come back to the show a second time. All right. How does that sound?
Yeah, sure, I'll do.
Okay. Awesome. So what's your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur?
Favorite aspect is when you're working for your passion. I mean, I discovered my passion, and like I used to help a lot of people out with with charity and all that stuff, and now I'm like helping at a global scale of reducing plastics. That keeps me up all the time, irrespective of whether I get monetary benefit or either anything. It keeps me up onto my feet. So working on your passion, and when that is actually helping out the nature as well, gives me that immense happiness, and that keeps me happy about my entrepreneurship.
Okay, got it. So let's talk about your experience on Shark Tank. How was your experience, and what are you currently doing with the $500,000 that you won? And then also, after you explain that, for like aspiring Shark Tank contestants, can you explain like what happens after you get a deal?
Yeah, so unfortunately I can't disclose everything because we
Okay,
have some
yeah, for sure.
legal
Yeah.
like issues or legal restrictions. Shark Tank experience is a mixed experience, to be frank. A lot of
Mhm.
people think it's like the best thing can happen in your life, but yes, I on the good side, yes, you have like a huge free marketing that's happening on the YouTube or on the TV. It's like millions of dollars of worth of ad spend that you could do. So that's actually a good thing about it. But the experience going there and pitching to the sharks itself is actually very, 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 very exhausting. It's people don't understand, because on the TV they do a very, very good job in editing it to show as if one person is speaking with you and you're speaking, replying back to them. In reality, not many people will be like prepared to it, as you have to be prepared for all five of them talking to you at the same time, and you have to respond to all five of them at the same time. So it's not about what numbers you know, it's not about how much you know about your company, how much you remember. It's about managing five people in the room when they're trying to throw a lot of questions at you and answering them and managing them. That's all the main part is. But unfortunately, you can't really train for that because it's very hard, and it's actually a longer experience in the sense that the pitch goes on for close to an hour or even more. I think
Oh, wow.
mine went on till like 80 minutes,
Oh,
1 hour 20 minutes, even though they show only 10 or 15 minutes of
yeah.
the.
I
And
thought it's
yeah,
just 10 minutes.
no. Why would
Oh,
they decide something so quick? There are a lot more questions, a lot more discussions that that
yeah.
happen there on the carpet. Yep, and coming back to after the tank, yeah, there is a due diligence that happens, and the sharks or the founders can change the deals, revise the deals, and they either pull back or keep it the same or change it. So the multiple options that happens for us. Unfortunately, I mean, I can't disclose why, but we had to pull out because there was a change in the terms that we discussed before. So because of the change in terms, which I can't disclose a lot, I had to pull out, and it was a very unfortunate thing for me. I really wished I could had a shark or the money to support our company, but that is fine. So that's how it happened. And yeah, and just there's data out in there. There are some like quite a few blog sites, and even I think Medium has a very good article on how many startups actually make their deal, and it's not that high. It's only 40 to 50% of the companies that go on the tank that are shown
I
on the
see.
TV actually go through the deal.
Okay, got it. What's like during this interview, or like just when people like talk to you, what's one question you wish they would ask you about your business, and how would you answer it?
That's an interesting question. So one thing I wish people would ask me is is how do you deal with the challenges, right? At an during a startup in the early years, because you are hit with more challenges than, like, you literally hear 100 no's before you hear the first yes. So how do we cope up with that, right? It's a pretty exhausting exhausting first few years to be an entrepreneur, because there are a lot of things you have to do, a lot of hats you have to wear, and you have to take care of everything by yourself, and you have to make expensive mistakes, and just pushing through all this mess and making that possible is what makes you a pretty seasoned entrepreneur.
Got it. Well, these are the last two questions that I asked all my guests on the Ochakde show. So let's just start with the first one, then we'll go to the second one. The first one is, what's your best advice for teens?
For teens, there are the two major challenges that you already are aware of. One is climate change and plastic pollution. So no matter what you do, try to find a way to include helping the planet in your journey. Doesn't matter if it's a software, it's a hardware, it's something, it's a food product, it's not a food product, whatever it is. Try to explore new ideas, because it's your future is at stake. It's not us, because we already went through our lives for almost like 30 plus years. So for your own future, for your own sake, try to support or try to make some new ideas that can help in a better way. And and initially, when I was a teenager, I always wanted to do many things, but just try to find the right thing that you're really deeply interested in and push forward to it.
I love that. So this is the last question of the day. What was your favorite part of being on the show?
So it's very rare to get an opportunity to reach out to the younger generations. I mean, a lot of podcasts cater to the older generations. So one thing good about the show, I feel, is to hopefully get a lot of middle schoolers or high schoolers can see me and understand. And even if one listener is inspired and makes something that helps the planet, that's all I need.
Awesome. Is there anything you want to say before we end it off? Or actually, I saw your NPR interview.
Mm-hmm.
Can you disclose the celebrity yet or no?
Oh no, I wish I can, but no.
It's okay.
No.
It's okay.
It's I can say it's a she. I mean,
okay.
So, and she's pretty famous. Recently, she became very famous. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll stay tuned to figure out who that is soon. But
or I can give you a clue. If all goes well, they might use us product in the next year's concerts. The celebrity goes on these tours, right, where you go to the concerts of those celebrity. So if you find our product in that concert celebrity, in that celebrity's concert, then yes, she's the one. So I can't disclose till people know it by themselves, unfortunately.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But yeah, anything you want to say to the audience?
No, I mean, just again, one thing I would really advise younger generation is you have a lot of time ahead. So start something as soon as you can, even if it's really, really small or really big, or even at a medium size idea. Just think about ideas and start implementing them. Try, fail, and then as you keep trying, you'll succeed, sure, at one point of time.
Awesome. Well, Dinesh, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks a lot, Sachin. Nice meeting y'all.